Emma McQueen.
Hello, Fee Mims. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to be seen. It's nice to see you. It'll be nice and warm.
How's your school holiday juggle going?
Man, oh man. Juggle with a capital J, I'm afraid.
Yes, me
What about
too.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, me. I've got 2 boys and a girl in the house. There was some laser tag happening earlier, but they've all been given strict instructions, but who knows what we could hear. Anyway, as long as they're still alive, that's all that matters. That's good parenting, isn't it? Right, let's get stuck into this. We're going to try and make this a nice, quick and fun chat this morning.
Yes.
I'm going to introduce you first. Obviously, well, actually, I'd love you to introduce yourself, but you're Emma McQueen, otherwise known as The Queen, which I think is awesome. And you play that so well. You are an incredible business coach. You run a group of women called Thriving Women, and I really just wanted to get you online and chat today to introduce you to my audience, because I've loved working with you and I've loved watching you work with your women that you coach. And obviously we've just gotten to know each other over the last few months as I've done some photography for you as well. And I would love to share you with the world.
Share me with the world. Thank you so much.
So I know you've got an extensive history in corporate, and you're now running this group, Thriving Women. So yeah, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have been coaching for 15 years.
That's a long time. Yeah, you're very young considering. No grey hair. So yeah, you're sleek. Very well.
Jesse does a great job. Yes, I've been coaching for a long time. I'm also on the faculty of Women in Leadership Australia. So I'm one of their coaches for women that go through their 12-month program. So that's awesome. And I just love helping women to tap into their potential and use their passion and really get paid their worth, right? Because we've still got this stinking pay gap that really sucks. Yes. And women are working harder. They either have a side hustle and they're in a corporate role, and we're trying to do lots of different things. So if I can help them achieve their goals and their results, I'm very happy camper.
Yeah, and we're in that generation, aren't we, where we are doing a lot of stuff. And I know my mother was a working mother as well, but it just feels so different, you know. And I think the pace of work now and the juggle is much harder. And there's that side where it's like, we're making progress, don't, whine about it. But then I've got that other part of me where I really whine about it. And I have these conversations with my husband, who is extremely supportive, but I don't think unless you're a woman, it's really hard to get that, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into a conversation about supporting women. It is challenging. It's really challenging. And I love watching you work because you're so joyful all the time. Like, even though I know you're going through the same stresses as every other businesswoman, you never show it. And you have this you really emanate this real love for your work and also your clients. And I want to tell a really quick story to everyone about meeting you and getting to know you, because I'll get into that, but I was obviously introduced to you through Nicole Vine, my personal stylist I work with a lot. She took me to one of your Lunch with the Queens. And not long after that, I don't think we actually knew each other that well, but we were getting to know each other. And not long after that, I ran my first ever branding workshop. And you sent me a good luck text on my phone the night before. And I was just really gobsmacked by that. And I think that spoke a lot of words to me about the kind of care you show for not just the women you coach, but also the women you meet and that you're getting to know. You really have this incredible support for the people around you, and that really touched me, and it was really lovely. Like, you're the only person who did that, and it was unexpected, and it was just great. And it's like, oh my gosh, she's got my back, and isn't that lovely? And that's one of the things I really noticed when I came and photographed you with your Thriving Women, that just real sense of care and support, but also that getting shit done aspect. I think you've got a really nice blend. It is, I think, you've got a really nice blend of all those different aspects. So yeah, talk to me a little bit more about how you work with your women and what does it mean to thrive? How do you help them thrive?
Yeah, well, thank you. I think, I just don't think that I hear a lot of people saying women support women and stuff, but I also see all the competitiveness that happens with women who have their own businesses, and it really bothers me. And so I just kind of feel like you can be in business and you can be kind and you can be generous and you can be grateful. And so hopefully I talk the talk, but I also walk the walk. And so I actually don't think it's that hard to send someone an encouraging message or check in on someone. And I don't think we do it enough, really. There's business and everyone's doing business for whatever reasons that they've got, but there's also this spirit of generosity that I think you can, and I tried very hard to weave that through the Thriving Women community as well. So we do Grateful Fridays and different bits and pieces. But women thriving to me is really around doing work they love. And I just think life is too short to do a job you hate. And Gallup says that 85% of people hate their jobs. And I just think, oh my goodness, 85% of people hate their jobs. That sucks. And I'm lucky enough to be in the 15%. And I also think, so when women are thriving, you can just see that they're kind of aligned. You can see that they're using their potential and their talents and their passion and their purpose is aligned, and they're getting paid what they're worth. And I think from a thriving perspective, if you've got all of those things, and you automatically get results because you feel aligned. You know, it's when you're doing work that you love with people that you like. And when I first started my business, you know, I started the business and I scaled pretty quick. And at that point you say yes to money. And you don't really think all the time about who you're working with, but you know when you're working with the wrong person because your soul is just kind of like. And so now I'm in a really great position where I get to choose who I work with, and that's a brilliant place to be. And I think that's where you can create some of the magic around some of the programs. So the Thriving Women program is magical because I've been very selective about who's come into that. Yeah, and created that kind of safe space for that cohort for this year, which has been awesome.
Yeah, great. There's so much there I wanted to talk to you about. We could talk to you for hours about all those things. I loved your point about the competition because you're right. There is a lot of talk about support for women, but I think behind the scenes there is still a lot of competition. And I read a great quote somewhere. It was probably on social media, but it was other women are your competition, not your enemy. And I thought that's a really nice distinction because it's okay to acknowledge that other women can be your competition, but that doesn't mean you're fighting each other, that you can still help each other out. So I really like that, and that sits with me a lot. And yeah, you mentioned in how you have grown your business quite quickly, and I wanted to get you to speak a little bit about that because to meet you, I feel like you've been running this Thriving Women group forever. There's just that feeling of, you're home and you've been doing this, but it actually has been quite quickly. So you have managed to come in and scale your business quite quickly and quite effectively and get paid what you're worth. And there is another whole discussion we could even have just around women getting paid what they're worth and accepting the right jobs and saying, it's very easy to get into that rut of just saying yes to anything that comes your way, which I've been there myself as well, and it really slows you in your tracks and it stops you doing what you should be doing. So talk to me a little bit about, how you've managed to build your business so quickly and so effectively in such a great way. Is there any magic trick, or is it just... It's
a lot of hard work. I wrote about this because today's blog is work-life balance a load of BS. And I think in the first year, I think it kind of is. It was for me. So I worked stupid hours. I will say it's not sustainable. I did about 80 hours a week for the first year of my stepping up full time. And my husband sat me down at the end of the year and just went, "You've done amazing things, which is great, but it's not sustainable." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So I kind of had to pare it back. But one of the things that I did is I had always love working one-on-one with women. I think that's where the results come and that's where the magic happens. And everyone's got different goals that they're trying to achieve. So that tailor one-on-one coaching is totally my sweet spot. But as I was doing that, I kept connecting my one client with another. And I'm like, there's something in this. These women want to be connected with other women. It always seems that I'm trying to maneuver them to meet. And then I went, you know what? So I was lucky enough to go, if I take a step back and I think about that, women want connection, they want clarity, and then they want conviction. And so let's make a program that matches that, which is why Thriving Women was born. And so Thriving Women was just a trial for 2019. I had no idea if it was going to work or not. And so it's a mix of one-on-one coaching, workshops, private networking dinners, accountability groups, and some other bits and pieces. One of the We Love videos, which we'll talk about. And what has come of that is just a beautiful group of women genuinely supporting each other and genuinely being each other's cheerleaders. And I leave each dinner just thinking, how lucky am I to do this work? And that's when you know you're in alignment, when you go back and you're just so grateful for the work and you're so grateful for the women that have crossed your path in that. So it's been awesome. Yeah.
And that's definitely so I met you first through your lunch with the Queen, and Nicole invited me along to one of your lunches. So you hold them every month, is that right? So this is a great way if people want to meet you and get to know you and find out a little bit more about who you work with and what you do. You run lunch with the Queen once a month in Camberwell, unless you're moving venues. And it was just a great opportunity to sit around a table with a bunch of other like-minded women, and we're all in totally different fields, which was great. And you sat there and it was just a really nice lunch where we all got to share, but it was very relaxed. So I suppose I wouldn't say it was networking, but it's kind of a different style of networking, isn't it? But it was a really nice opportunity to meet you. And like you said, just talk with other women and find out more about what you're doing. And you slipped a little bit of business advice in there.
I know. Do you know what? I had someone had been to lunch with the Queen, and I had talked to her about her business and asked her a couple of questions and suggested something, and then about 3 months later she texted me and she said, "Oh, you'll never guess what, I've done exactly what you said and it's going amazing." And I'm like, yeah, it's
the best feedback to get, isn't it? No, it was good. I loved that lunch, really loved it. And then out of that, I joined your Facebook group, which is called We Love Video. And I really wanted to talk about that today because I love it. I mean, I obviously am very aware of the importance of being on screen and on camera and sharing myself online, but video is something, whilst I'm getting less nervous about it, I don't do it enough, and most of us don't. So you run this great group on Facebook. It's a closed group that you have to join called We Love Video, and you have to post once a week, but it's just to the group. So it's that accountability, but it's in such a safe space. And even for someone like myself who is, getting more comfortable with jumping online, it's really helped me. It's probably that accountability factor. And just for anyone listening, if you don't post, this girl kicks you out of the group. She means business, which I think that's awesome as well, because you've got to be disciplined. It's like, hey, you haven't posted for a couple of weeks, are you in or you're out? But I've been in there for a couple of months now, and obviously it's a great way to also see the other women and what they're doing, but it's such a safe space. And as a result of that, I started my IGTV channel, which is a little bit more nerve-wracking because it's going to the masses, but I post once in your group a week, and I also make myself accountable to try and get once a week on IGTV, and that safe space and that supportive group in there. And you've got a great videographer in there, Cameron Fink, who's also giving some advice and helping us women. It's been a great channel for me to push myself in that area, which I know I need to go in more. So if people want to work with you, that's or meet you and work with you, that's two great ways to do it. In a safe space, go and have lunch with the Queen, or jump. I suppose if people just search for We Love Video on Facebook, they'll find you, or they could always just contact you through your Facebook page or your website. So and you've got Thriving Women opening up soon. So if you want to let people know anything about that, give yourself a spruik.
Well, the We Love Video group is awesome because there's a real need, because we don't love, as women, getting in front of the camera, and that's the beauty of that. I think you would bring up the fact that I kick people out of the group, but anyway.
In a very gentle way, in a very gentle, nice way. It's like, it's people are in there to post once a week, and yes, to your credit, there's been a few weeks where I haven't posted. I think I was every 2 weeks for a while there, and I haven't been kicked out yet. So,
Look, I give people the opportunity to leave the group, but
that's true.
You know what? I think, and this is about consistency for me, because I am very consistent. I write a blog once a week and I do lots of things that are quite consistent. But if people are in the We Love Video group and they're not posting, they're just watching everyone else's, it kind of feels like they're kind of lurking or stalking. And I really wanted the space to be safe so that people who are genuinely wanting to get some feedback on video and do the videos get the results that they want, because at the end of the day, I'm all about results.
Yes.
And so, but yes, I will own the fact that I will kick people out of the group if they don't post their video. And Thriving Women, yes, kicks off. So we're kicking off in January 2020. It looks a bit different for 2020. So 2019, it was you just paid a fee for the full 12 months and off you went. This year, I've got a few different options for people, because there's some people that just want to connect. So I have people that come to Lunch with the Queen or just want that group interaction all the time. And then I've got some people that want the tailor-made coaching, as well as some of the development, the workshops. And then I've got some that want the whole kit and caboodle. So that's at the designers at the moment, but it's looking pretty good.
No, that's exciting. Yeah. So if anyone would like to work with Emma, I think you're awesome. So, and I know from talking to all the women that, and I've seen it, you just do get results, and you do it in such a beautiful, supportive way. So it's really nice to chat to you about that today. Before we finish, because I'm a branding photographer, I want to ask you about visibility and video and how you think that's helped you. And I know you've had a few different photo shoots over the years, and I know a few of the photos I took from one of your recent workshops you used on your website. So I would love your take on how your branding has, or how much attention you've paid to your brand as you started your business, and how you feel that has maybe helped accelerate what you've done, or whether it hasn't. I'm up for honest feedback, but it's nice to get people's take on their brand and how they think that's helped them in business.
Yeah, that's good. So maybe I'll start.
I was going to ask you that. I just threw that one on you.
Maybe I'll start at the start. So when I first stepped into the business full time, I created a GoDaddy website on the train in 20 minutes. Don't let perfection get ahead of progress. But, and it was fine. It was fine, but it wasn't great. And I just needed to get something up. And I didn't pay that much attention to personal branding at that point in time. And I was so excited to work for myself because I could wear jeans every day.
Yes.
And then suddenly you're not branded with something else. So I worked for Australia's largest not-for-profit for a number of years, and my brand and their brand were interconnected, right? So I had to work really hard to undo that brand and just be the Emma McQueen brand, which I found quite difficult. And I know lots of women find that really hard because they feel like they're selling themselves, but you've kind of got to look the part. And I think I did get some photos done. You did some beautiful photos at my event stuff. And I've just done a brand new website. So it's obviously really important for me, but it's not only just the personal brand, the look and feel. So of course, Nicole Vine is my personal stylist as well. I'm very lucky to have her dress me, takes all the angst out of my wardrobe. But it's also about how you show up. And so for me, I feel like I show up consistently, and that's kind of one of the things that I think is really important, because I think consistency leads to credibility. And I have a attitude of gratitude always. I don't feel like I'm lucky. I think I work really hard, but I also am open to opportunity. So I think that kind of makes a difference. And it feels like to people that it's probably an overnight success, but it's a little while making. Never is. Never is. Yeah,
that's true. And you're right. I mean, there's in terms of branding and being visible, I mean, I just spoke to someone yesterday who I'll be working with, and she gave me the same response I hear from so many women. I don't like getting in front of the camera because I feel like it's, all about me. And I was explaining to her that I think of your brand in terms of your story. It's about telling people your story. So, for most shoots, it might be some great photos of you, and it's fantastic to get some beautiful photos of you. Why shouldn't you do that? You're just going to look your best. But it's also about telling your story. So it's, for you, we took some of you working with a client, taking a workshop. It includes detail photos. But like you said, your brand it's not just about you, but it's about the whole look and feel and what you offer people and your story and the consistency of that. So it's really important, I think, people think about it in that sense, isn't it? And remove themselves from the brand and think about it on a much bigger scale and just about telling their story. Yeah.
I also think, though, and this is one of the things that I think might be different depending on who you meet. So it's how you are. It's not, you know, my mum always used to say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right?
Yes.
You know, that all, and I think that's so, it's actually how you make people feel. And so, and that was one of the things that I noticed about your photography when you did my event photography. And I think I said this to you in the feedback, that it was actually how you interacted with everyone and how you made them feel so that they felt comfortable to just forget that there was a camera there and kind of get on with things. And I think that's a real gift, the gift of how you make people feel. And if you can help people feel comfortable in their own skin, which you do as a photographer, which is awesome, and you've got a smile on your face because people don't want to be around anyone grumpy, right? And we all have bad days. Even I have bad days, but you know, I'm not say off social media on those days. But I think it's a lot about how you make people feel. So, you know, there's lots of business coaches out there, and depending on how they make you feel and what the chemistry is will depend on whether you want to work with them or not. Yeah,
absolutely. And on those bad days, when you're doing what you love, it distracts you from that too, doesn't it? You can throw yourself into that and come out a little bit more energized. I find that. Well, that's a great note to finish on, because you're right, it's all about being memorable and the experience. And when I met you, that was the same. You just made that experience of me meeting you and seeing what you do really memorable, and I remembered you for that. And that's why I've wanted to get to know you more and work with you. So, it's nice to have you here today for a quick chat and to share you with everyone that's hopefully listening. And hopefully you might get
They're not all had fun. Who cares?
And if not, as you said at the start of this interview, if no one's listening, that's awesome too. It's a good opportunity to test out my video on my computer. Emma, thank you for talking today. We can get back to our school holiday juggle now, and I'm sure I'll see you very soon in your video group. Today's the day I have to post. I have to jump off and post my video.
I know, I do too. Does this count?
That's what I was wondering. Have such a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bea. See ya.
Bye.